Right now at 6, the 29th annual Green Bush Day happened over the weekend while raising money for a good cause.
And we've got some partly cloudy skies out there. Warm temperatures, maybe a stray shower or two. We'll have a look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Pitt State hosts a family fun day to get the community more involved with the school.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday here in the 4 states. You ever have a Monday? It's just a Monday. It's Monday
Most
from the
Mondays.
Start of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's today. It's Monday, and it's starting off as a Monday. But
you can only go up from here for the rest of the week. For the rest of the week, yeah.
If you have that rough start on Monday, it can only get better. It can't get any worse, and that's how today's going to be. I guarantee it. Okay, maybe I don't guarantee it. I'm not Walmart. Your satisfaction is not necessarily guaranteed, but I'm certainly hopeful your Monday will be fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a pretty decent day out there as well. Let's take a look outside first with our camera. Downtown Pittsburgh, we're looking good. We've got some clouds out there. In fact, if you look close enough, you can actually see city lights off in the distance, reflecting on some of those clouds here and there. Our camera 7th and range line also looking pretty good as well this morning as folks get their Monday commute underway. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. Again, for now, it's temporarily somewhat deserted, but of course that won't last too long. And of course, speaking of desserts, our very favorite dessert person, Lori Horton, is here, and she's going to have something fantastic for us. See? Making your Monday better already. Fog tracker, we got some dense fog. Once again, we've been dealing with this consistently now, but right around the Grand Lake area, we have those reduced visibilities, and they do stretch as far as western McDonald County, so just keep that in mind if you're traveling out there this morning. Future track, I mentioned a couple of stray showers. That's going to be a possibility, mainly on the Missouri side, and more than likely, say, east of the I-49 corridor, but between about 2 and 5 is looking to be, at this point, our best window for an isolated pop-up shower or storm again out to the east. The rest of us, though, will remain dry, and skies will begin to clear out a bit as we head into the late evening and overnight hours. Now, I was hoping that by now it would have been resolved, but for reasons that I am not in charge of, Joplin is not reporting any current conditions. But I do know it's in the 60s, and we're looking at those partly cloudy skies. 64 in Pittsburgh right now. Temperatures around the region, again, hanging out into the 60s. We've got 60 in Iola as the cool spot, 70 in Bentonville as the warm spot, and then the rest of us just hanging out right there in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, calm wind, 64, and when that bus brings them back home, a bit warmer, 84. East wind 5 to 15, some gusts upwards of 20, maybe even 25. And again, east of I-49, maybe a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. The rest of us, though, again, dry, so that's just going to be that brief window. Partly cloudy skies heading into the evening, then they'll start to clear out a bit overnight. Highs today right around average, around the mid-80s across the region. We are going to start to heat up, though. The above normal temperatures make a return. And remember that rain we talked about last week for this upcoming weekend? It's still out there. We'll go over all those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. Well, a DWI investigation is underway following a rollover crash in Sarcoxie, Missouri. Just before 1 p.m. Saturday, reports of a rollover crash at 5th and High alerted Jasper County 911. Sarcoxie Rural Fire, Sarcoxie Police, and Mercy Ambulance responded. On scene, we learned a single vehicle was traveling westbound on High. It overturned numerous times, witnesses say. Police say it traveled 264 feet before coming to a stop. The driver, an adult female, was transported to an area hospital. She was still communicating with EMS, but the extent of her injuries are unknown. Sarcoxie law enforcement says this is a DWI investigation. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, a rally in the park event was held yesterday for the community in Carthage. The Bridge, a Christian church located in Carthage, organized the event. Now, activities started with a 5K run and walk that was followed by an outdoor church service, a car show, inflatables for kids, and free face painting. They were all available as well.
We want our neighbors to know how much we appreciate them and invite them and their children to be a part of what we're doing here today, to provide entertainment through a car show, Yes, it serves as a fundraiser, but it's also entertainment for the family.
After the service, burgers were provided to people in attendance at no cost. The 29th annual Greenbush Day took place yesterday, raising money for the St. Oleus Historical Society. The Historical Society maintains the grounds of the church and some of the surrounding area. The event included a community potluck, horse rides, music, and an antique car show featuring cars like a Ford Model A that was also there for people to enjoy. Now, the Historical Society was hoping to raise $2,000. Well, Pittsburg State University kicks off Hispanic Heritage Month with its first Hispanic musical festival yesterday in the Bicknell Center for the Arts. The Hispanic Bandana performance is one of many that'll take place throughout September and October. Some songs performed yesterday by the Bandana include Bella Ciao, Funky Town, and more. Special guest performances took place throughout the festival.
I want them to to take away happiness. So I want them to go out from the concert like super excited and looking forward for the next one. I think that's the main goal. If we get it, hopefully we can do it again next year. So that's the idea, just people having fun.
The concerts were free and open for the community to attend. Well, Pittsburg State also held a family fun day to get kids excited for the football game Saturday night. KOAM's Mitch Adams has the story.
For our families to come that maybe are local or are alumni, bring their kids back to, again, experience what they love so much about their alma mater. So that is the important piece of Family Day and is why I think we always have such a great turnout.
Pittsburg State University held Family Fun Day, an activity-based event at the Overman Student Center for kids and their guardians. Local companies, campus reps, and community members set up at different stations in the building. Rotations were on a 25-minute time slot to ensure the kids had time to enjoy each activity.
We have about 400 people who checked in. They have some rotations. They will go up to the ballrooms and they'll have karate. Pittsco Education is here doing a group. We'll have ultimate art, and then our friends from Nature Reach are here with some animals too.
The art station, run by the Pitt State Art Department Chair James Oliver, is a fun way to let the kids flex their artistic muscles.
So with our activity, it allows the kids a little artistic outlet. Most kids like to color, most kids like to draw, and so this takes their drawing and puts it sort of the beginning of putting it in a position to be ready to exhibit.
The activities at this event are designed for children 3 to 12 years of age, but people of all ages, alumni or not, made great memories on campus. Reporting from Pittsburg State University, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Cost of admission was $12 per child and included a Pitt State gift bag, a meal voucher for food vendors at the game, and access to all of the activities at the Student Center. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The ChatGPT maker says its new AI model can reason and think much like a person and perform similarly to PhD students. Plus, the FBI is investigating a second assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Today, a U.S. appeals court will hold oral arguments about a law that would ban TikTok in the United States. Congress passed a bill last April that President Biden signed into law. The ban would take effect in mid-January unless TikTok's ownership changes. ByteDance is a Chinese-based company, and the United States is demanding ByteDance divest itself from TikTok, but the company says not so fast. It's challenging the law, saying it violates free speech rights in the United States. The company says even if it divested, it cannot happen by the deadline Congress has set. Well, OpenAI has unveiled a new AI model it says that can reason and solve harder problems in science, coding, and math better than its predecessors. The ChatGPT maker says it can reason and think much like a person. The model is the first in a series called OpenAI 01. It was released Thursday as a preview, with the firm saying it expects regular updates and improvements, and it will gradually become available to most ChatGPT users. The company says in tests, 01 performed similar to PhD students on difficult benchmark tasks in physics, chemistry, and biology. The company says the new model doesn't yet have many of the useful features of ChatGPT, like browsing the web for information and uploading files and images. But it says it's a significant advancement for complex reasoning tasks. The FBI is investigating what it says appears to be a second assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. The incident happened yesterday at Trump's golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida. Christian Benavides has the latest from the scene.
The FBI says it arrested a man after Secret Service agents saw the muzzle of an AK-47 style rifle pointing toward President Trump through shrubbery while he was golfing Sunday at his golf club in West Palm Beach.
Our agents engaged. We are not sure right now if the individual was able to take a shot at our agents.
A witness reported the suspect's license plate numbers to police. Within minutes, the FBI took him into custody without incident in a neighboring county. Officials say the suspect left a rifle, a scope, and 2 backpacks when he fled.
And there's also a GoPro on the fence there where he was intent on filming what was going on.
The suspect is identified as 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Ruth, a former North Carolina resident now living in Hawaii. He is seen here in a 2023 interview with the news organization Semaphore discussing the war in Ukraine. CBS News has learned the suspect has a criminal history and had been personally recruiting soldiers to fight in the war against Russia. The Palm Beach County Sheriff says the suspect managed to get fairly close to the former president.
Between 300 and 500 yards, but with a rifle and a scope like that, that's not a long distance.
It was only 9 weeks ago that Trump survived another attempt on his life during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. He escaped with an ear injury. The suspect in that case was killed by the Secret Service. The suspect in Sunday's incident now faces federal charges. Trump wrote in a fundraising text, "My resolve is stronger after another attempt on my life." Christian Benavides, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Now, Trump is scheduled to speak about cryptocurrency from Florida live on the social media platform X tonight. President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed on the matter, and Harris said in a statement that violence has no place in America. Now, to look at some of today's top national stories, here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we got to look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We've got some clouds out there this morning and the rain activity off to our east, but that rain to our east could bring a couple of pop-up showers or storms to our eastern counties. Another look at your forecast when we come back.
Welcome back. Lori Horton from Celebrations by Lori joins us in the studio to teach us how to make apple cider donut cake.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
It really doesn't. You know, like I said, with Labor Day is over,
Yes.
It's time for the fall recipes. We have to have apple spice or
Right.
pumpkin spice
Yes.
in everything now. So, you know, this is an easy one this morning.
Okay.
We're not even going to have a mixer or anything out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So make it really simple. We're going to start out with some basic ingredients like a cake mix, just
Okay,
to
sure.
make things really, really quick for you, not a lot of measuring. And you have some options here. My original recipe that I had for this actually called for using a spice cake. And that's really good with it, but I
Right.
kind of switched it up and I start with just a basic yellow cake
Sure,
mix.
yeah.
And we're gonna add apple cider and applesauce and all the apple things to it. So to me, the spice cake kind of took away from the apple. But
Overpowering, maybe?
A little
Okay.
bit. So I like
Good
to
to
really
know.
taste
Yes,
that apple
yeah.
in it when I get done. So it's kind of an option.
Sure,
You can experiment
yeah.
a little bit and kind of see what you like the best. But we're going to actually add to it, instead of the oil and the water and the things on the
Right.
box, none of that. We're going to add a cup of apple cider, and we want to add a really good one. So if it's not something you would pour out of that jug and enjoy having in a cup, then don't use that one. Use a
Perfect,
good one. A little bit of applesauce, like a half a cup. And this one, my favorite, I actually could not find at the store lately. Big surprise, I know everybody's having that experience. But the best is to use a chunky applesauce that's got some
Ooh.
bits of apple in it.
Sweetened or unsweetened?
It's really your option.
Okay.
I go with the sweetened,
Sure.
just the
Yeah.
kind of standards there. But there is a brand that makes one that has some really good bits of
Okay,
apple in it,
good
a
to
little
know.
more than usual. But right now, apparently, it's a little
Okay.
hard to find. 3 large eggs. When we're baking, we always stick with the large eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that. And then I've got just a little bit of brown sugar and cinnamon here, and a little dash of vanilla. And again, use a good, rich, dark vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to taste a little bit of that when it's done. So this can just be mixed by hand. You don't have to get that mixer out. This is something good that the kids can help with. it's going to be a pretty basic batter, not real thick,
Sure, yeah.
not real, nothing out of the ordinary. So by adding that applesauce and that apple cider, again, we didn't have to add the oil or the water. We're going to have that good moist cake when we get done because that's going to replace it. And then this is going to bake in a bundt pan. So we want a pretty side to it. We're going to either grease and flour it or spray it with that baking spray.
Perfect, yeah.
Got to do a good job on that because this is a nice soft cake when we get all done. So when we come back later, we're going to show you exactly how that's going to rise and bake, and then how we're going to top it and really add that extra fall spice flavorings to it with some toppings and even a little bit of dip or drizzle for the side. That's kind of cool. So we're going all in as usual.
Sounds like it. Sounds perfect, amazing, delicious. We'll stick around. We'll be right back.
This is your plumbing headquarters.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:22 now on this Monday morning here in the 4 states, and we are starting with a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Starting to get a little daylight out there, a little easier to see some of those partly cloudy skies as we start our day. Our camera 7th and range line, you can actually see we get some lower clouds over the city of Joplin right now. So they're kind of showing up depending on the brightness and contrast on your TV. For example, the monitor directly in front of me, I can't see these clouds, but off to the side, I can see them. Either way, few clouds out there. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking pretty good this morning, as well as is the KDOT camera 69 in Kansas Crossing just south of Pittsburgh. So let's talk about what we are expecting over the next couple of days. We are expecting, do you see how fast these wind arrows are moving? It's because we could have some gusty winds today out of the east, upwards of 20, maybe even 25 miles an hour at times. And between, and again, this is just based on everything I've looked at, between 2 and 5, primarily east of the 49 corridor, we could see an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm out there. Majority of us will remain dry, and we'll have partly cloudy skies as we head through the day. We'll go mostly clear overnight. We'll have mostly clear skies on our Tuesday as well. Tuesday, though, kicks off temperature starting to go above normal across the area. We'll have those mostly clear skies continuing into Tuesday night. By Wednesday, we'll see a few clouds here and there, so we're looking at partly cloudy skies, southerly winds, and then southeasterly winds will bring in even warmer temperatures. And as we head into Thursday, that trend continues, but by Thursday, we start to see some changes. Now, as I mentioned, Joplin Airport, obviously a few minor technical difficulties with the reporting station. This is more information than they've had all morning long, but the winds are calm, visibility is 10 miles, so that's, again, better than what we've seen so far in terms of conditions out there. But remember, Joplin, you're not going to be significantly off of everybody else. And just as a heads up, that number hasn't changed for quite some time. But it's relatively accurate. We've got 60s all the way up to about 70 in Bentonville, so not a bad start to the day. We get our morning underway. Again, partly cloudy skies, looking pretty good. Mid-60s to start, upper 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today relatively close to average, about the mid-80s. Still partly cloudy for most of us, and again, east of I-49 between 2 and 5, an opportunity for an isolated shower or storm. Once that opportunity clears out, the skies again begin to clear a bit behind that. Mostly clear, upper 60s by 10, overnight lows into the low to mid 60s out there. Again, the heat really cranks up over the next several days. 90, not bad, but we start really going in the low 90s as we head toward the end of the week. Still looking at that cold front. That's the one nice thing that's been consistent now for a better part of a week, is the system coming in toward the end of this week. That's going to bring us some slightly better shower and thunderstorm chances, and we'll also drop our temperatures. Take a look. As we get into Sunday, we're in the low 80s Sunday and Monday, and even the upper 70s by the middle of next week, so not too bad at all. That's checking your forecast. We're going to send it over to Lisa now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the CDC is investigating how a person in Missouri caught bird flu, but they say the risk to the public remains low. Now, the patient who has recovered claims they had no contact with animals and did not drink raw milk. Health officials believe it may be a rare instance of a one-off, a standalone illness. Now, many employees feel pressure to work while sick. A study by the University of South Florida found that many organizations have a culture where it's expected you'll come into the office even when you're not feeling well. The study found working while sick leads to the loss of productivity, mistreatment of coworkers, and can even push employees to leave the company. Well, a new study says psilocybin, the active ingredient in magic mushrooms, could help millions of people with depression. Research published in Psychedelics found that if the FDA approves the treatment, more than half of Americans currently being treated for depression could qualify for a psilocybin therapy. But researchers say we're still learning about the best ways to use the treatment. And now to look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a local nonprofit receives a $10,000 grant to help adults with literacy.
And we've got some clouds out there this morning. Not a bad start to the day. Maybe an isolated shower or two. Break down the details in the forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, citizens in Sarcoxy celebrate Chief Sarcoxy Days with events for the whole family.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday here in the 4 states, and we got another good week ahead of us.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a pretty decent weekend out there. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, not too bad. How about yourself, Chris?
I was not bad at all. Yesterday was a very lazy day. Sometimes you just need a very lazy day, you know? I've got to take a break every so often. And hopefully you had a fantastic weekend as well. Hope your Monday's off to a great start. And the weather off to a pretty decent start this morning as well. In fact, we can show you how decent it looks by taking a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. You can see the sun rising back behind those clouds over there. So we're looking at partly cloudy skies in Pittsburgh, but if we head a little further to the southeast, we've got mostly cloudy skies in Joplin right now, kind of blocking out that sunrise, but eventually we'll go to those partly cloudy skies out there. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, kind of, you know, like Independence Day when the spaceships arrive. You got the dark shadow of the ships, but then you can see the sky beyond it. That's the mostly cloudy skies that we're seeing. We also have that fog once again around the Grand Lake area to deal with. So if you're traveling 60, 49, 69, or sorry, 44 or 69, there's too many highways. Just make sure you're slowing down, taking your time, and be aware that this fog over the last several days also has been extending into the western portions of McDonald County. So keep that in mind if you're traveling out there this morning. If you are east of I-49, that's where the 49 comes in, you could see between roughly 2 and 5 an isolated shower or thunderstorm. This is going to be very isolated and confined to the eastern sides of our viewing area. The rest of us are going to be dealing initially with partly cloudy skies, and then those skies will start to clear out, and it's going to be breezy. East winds gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. We're at 64 in Joplin. If you missed it earlier, the reporting station, the automated station in Joplin, has not been reporting current conditions all morning. But just it is safe to say it is in the 60s out there because that's where just about everyone else is. From a low at 61 in Iola to the warmest is Bentonville at 70. A pretty decent start to the day, not too far off of normal. Some of us a little warmer than normal, but again, not bad. Kids getting on the bus this morning, partly cloudy skies. Winds should be relatively calm initially. We're looking at about 64. When that bus brings them home through the morning into the afternoon, again, the winds will pick up. East 5 to 15, gusts 20, 25, about 84, and again, for some of us on the eastern side of our area, maybe an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm. The rest of us partly cloudy. Highs relatively close to average today as we go about the mid-80s, and then again, skies will start to clear as we head later into the evening and overnight hours. It's really going to start to heat up this week, and then we still have that cold front by the end of the week. I'm going to tell you what that's going to do for us in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, MoDOT is warning drivers in Jasper County about road work starting today on Route K. According to the Missouri Department of Transportation, crews will begin on a resurfacing project on Jasper County Route K from I-49 at Jasper East, approximately 10.5 miles to Missouri Route 37. Now, MoDOT says work will wrap up on September 20th. Traffic reduced to one lane where contractor crews are laying asphalt. Drivers will encounter flaggers and pilot cars where crews are working. Well, drivers should wait for the pilot vehicle before proceeding through the work zone or before entering the work zone from a side road. Work will be done during daytime hours and all lanes open to traffic at night. There will be no signed detour. Drivers are encouraged to find alternate routes, and MoDOT says the project is part of Governor Parson's Rural Routes program. Adult Literacy, a nonprofit organization that helps adults learn to read and increase basic literacy skills, announced it has received a $10,000 grant from the U.S. Bank Foundation. The grant will be used to support vibrant adult literacy programs as well as begin a quarterly financial literacy class through U.S. Bank. A check presentation took place yesterday at MSSU soccer field. U.S. Bank Community Affairs Manager said, quote, "We're proud to work with organizations like NALA Adult Literacy to help gain greater financial literacy and build thriving communities." Well, Saturday marked the third day of Chief Sarcoxy Days and the events of the 25th year. The celebration included a cornhole tournament, a home show, and citizens also got to choose the event's new chief, squaw, princess, and junior princess. There was even an alpaca petting zoo.
Small towns can still exist. Communities are important, and working together is something that we want to make sure happens for years and years to come.
Chief Sarcoxy Days wrapped up yesterday at noon after a church service at the town square. Well, Gem City Days happen in Diamond, Missouri Saturday. The celebration includes a car show, a parade, a dog show, a bandstand, and much more. The event also had a marketplace for area vendors and also had a wide variety of food for guests to enjoy. Well, it was a day for celebrations for Diamond because as well as Gem City Days, Prairie Day was also happening at George Washington Carver National Monument. The Prairie Day showcases the time in which George Washington Carver lived, including some interactive demonstrations like blacksmithing and soap making.
I absolutely love when our visitors come, they see new things. They're actually involved in a lot of our demonstrations. They're here for the music. They're here to talk history and archaeology and meet with the different exhibits here. And they're curious, they're learning, they're finding a connection to George Washington Carver, or they might be learning about a new textile. This truly is a wonderful event.
Something to do.
Diamond Lions Club provided food concessions for Prairie Days. Well,
Lord, God, Goddess, whichever.
Right shoe.
What all of this stuff, and I've been praying.
Dream Enterprises for fortune tellers, It also featured a kids section called Witchling's Way, where kids could do events like a chalk art.
Lord, God, Goddess.
And we'll end with the new tradition of a community showcase and an open mic. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Walgreens says it will settle lawsuits that claim the drug retailer submitted false payment claims. And we have a warm and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. On Consumer Watch this morning, the National Institute of Health says about 1 in 7 women in the U.S. suffer postpartum depression within their first year after childbirth, but half of the cases remain undiagnosed due to stigma. In light of all of this, a one-of-a-kind retreat for Washington State is working to help postpartum moms. Frankie Catafias reports.
Parenting is a skill, and when there's so much pressure for it to come naturally, we don't even think to look for the resources that are available to us.
That's where UZ Care steps in. The postpartum hotel and retreat is the first of its kind here in Washington, but according to CEO and founder Stephanie Foley, it isn't a new concept.
This exists in Asia and Europe. There's about 7,000 postnatal retreats in Asia, and 80 to 90% of women go to these in Asia.
UZ Care is a part of the lodge at St. Edward Park in Kenmore. From morning yoga to therapy, CPR classes, catered meals to even lactation support, there is something and someone for every new family.
Our team consists of midwives, lactation consultants, IBCLCs, doulas, RNs, and advanced nurse practitioners.
And with amenities from the rooms.
So this is one of our Lodge King rooms. We also have double rooms if the families want to bring their older child.
To the nursery.
So this is where baby will stay when they're with us. And right now this is set up with things that we would normally have in the rooms.
This Army veteran and working mother of 2 created this retreat with one goal in mind.
We want this to be an elevated luxury experience for the family and the mom during a really hard and trying time.
Knowing herself how hard that first year of motherhood can be.
I started this from my own lived experience. After my second kid, I ended up surviving postpartum depression. I talked to hundreds of mothers like around my network and outside, and I would say 1 in 4 to 5 like have had some kind of similar experience.
This postpartum hotel and retreat is open to all families, biological, adoptive, or other, from right after birth up to 4 months post-delivery. For expecting families, there are also free events open to explore and see what UZ Care is all about.
Economic experts are predicting that the Federal Reserve is likely to lower interest rates for the first time in 4 years during its meeting on Wednesday. Now, the Fed has been hinting at possible cuts as inflation drops and the job market cools. Traders are hoping for a bigger than usual slash in rates. Walgreens says it will pay $106 million to settle lawsuits in Texas, New Mexico, and Florida that claim the drug retailer submitted false payment claims with government programs for prescriptions that were never filled. The company says it's corrected the error and has refunded all overpayments. And Tim Burton's sequel, Beetlejuice, had another big weekend at the box office, selling $51.6 million in tickets, down only 54% compared to its opening weekend. The horror film Speak No Evil nabbed the second spot with just over $11 million, followed by Disney and Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine, which raked in $5.2 million. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
And we're going to start with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Partly cloudy skies on the Pittsburgh side. Sun is beginning to rise, looking fairly good out there otherwise. We'll head down to Joplin. We're still dealing with some mostly cloudy skies out there, kind of blocking that sunrise this morning. And the MoDOT camera just south of that 20th and range line, you can see that the skies are clear off in the distance. It's just right now a little bit on the cloudy side over the city. We also have some fog, which thankfully at this point is cleared up. But as you all know, the last several mornings we've been dealing with some fog around Grand Lake. At this point, visibilities are showing clear. So that is some good news, but still just, exercise caution. Watch out for that patchy fog. Future track heading in this afternoon east of I-49. And again, best timing from what I've seen looks to be between 2 and 5. Maybe an isolated shower storm out there. The rest of us will be partly cloudy, dry, and breezy. Take a look at these wind arrows racing out there. We're looking at easterly winds 10 to 15 and maybe even occasionally gusting upwards of 20-25 miles an hour. And the wind arrows again begin to slow later this evening. In fact, winds will be calm as we go into the overnight hours. Quick look at temperatures. 64 in Pittsburgh. As I've mentioned, if you've been with us this morning, the Joplin automated reporting station is not functioning properly and has not been sending updated current temperatures for the last several hours, actually. I got here a little after 3 a.m. and it's not been up to date since then. 61 is the cool spot in Iola, 70 the warm spot in Bentonville, and a myriad of 60s from low, mid, and upper as we get this day underway. Kids getting on the bus this morning, we are looking at those partly cloudy skies, about 64. Winds are going to be relatively calm to start the day, and then again as we go through the morning into the afternoon, they'll begin to pick up. Maybe an isolated storm or two again east of I-49, and temperatures right around 84 degrees. We're going to heat up over the next few days. Talk about that here in just a moment, as well as birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, the latest installment of Beg Knows America, and David speaks to NFL legend Steve Gleason, who shares a powerful story of triumph and of hope. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states. We're starting with Kenzie Fecky, celebrating birthday number 8. Says we love you and hope you have an amazing birthday with love from Mom and Dad.
And over in Parsons, a happy 10th birthday to Dirk Blackburn.
And in Oswego, Cooper O'Brien celebrating birthday number 17. Happy birthday, Cooper.
And happy 40th birthday to Denny Pack in Thayer.
And in Chanute, Laura Walsh celebrating birthday number 67. Happy birthday, Laura.
Also in Chanute, a happy 69th birthday to Connie Turner.
And the party in Chanute continues with Georgetta Souser celebrating birthday number 77. Happy birthday.
And a happy 87th birthday to Neva Meadows. It says, "We love you, Mima," from your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids.
And in Cherokee, Norley Chad celebrating birthday number 90 says, "Happy birthday from the Crestline Pool Girls."
And over in Columbus, happy 23rd anniversary to Jason and Amanda Beard.
And we've got our very own Kelly Specht celebrating another year wiser. Kelly's a marketing consultant here at KOAM, so if you are looking to buy some advertising, Kelly is the person to see.
Yes, and last but not least, a very happy birthday to Howard Bailey, turning 92 today in Chanute.
All right, we of course always love celebrating these birthdays and anniversaries with you. At least where should they send them?
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages. And to, as always, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. You want to make sure you do that so that they will air at the appropriate time. All right, let's take a look outside once again with our camera. Downtown Pittsburgh, we've got partly cloudy skies, but they're in just the right place that they're kind of blocking a little bit of that sunrise this morning out there. But eventually, of course, it will rise higher and then it'll be brighter outside. Our camera 7th and range line in Joplin, we have mostly cloudy skies. We had it pointed toward the sunrise earlier this morning, but you really couldn't see much. But skies will again become a little more partly cloudy as we proceed through the morning. It's a better shot of those clouds from the MoDOT camera 20th and range line out there. So definitely making it a little bit on the dark side this morning. KDOT camera 69 Kansas Crossing. Also, we're not seeing any sunlight getting through because, well, we have some clouds out there that we have to contend with. We also have an opportunity, at least for some of us, mainly along into the east of the I-49 corridor. Between roughly 2 and 5, there will be an opportunity for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm out there. So we're not anticipating any severe weather, but a couple of storms will be possible, at least in a brief window. The rest of us will be partly cloudy, breezy. We'll have east winds 5 to 15, gusting upwards of 20, maybe even as high as 25. And then they'll calm back down as we head into the overnight hours. We'll have mostly clear skies tonight. Well, partly cloudy skies on our Tuesday. And we're going to remain dry for the next couple of days. We're also going to start to heat up, though, today. Tomorrow, rather. Today, relatively average. After we get through today, it's going to start to heat up across the area. And we'll have, once again, some partly cloudy skies for us on our Wednesday and another above normal day ahead of us. Talking about above normal, as mentioned, and it's still reporting some information, which is better than no information, but the automated station at the Joplin Airport is not fully reporting data at this point and has not been for the last several hours. But if it does, it will, of course, fill in and we'll get some information for you. So that said, this temperature here has not changed for quite some time either. We got 61 as the cool spot in Iola, 70 is the warm spot in Bentonville, and in between low, mid, and upper 60s as we get this day underway. Quick look at how we're going to start our day. We are expecting those partly cloudy skies out there, mid 60s to get underway at 8. We'll be into the upper 70s as we head into the late morning hours out there, and then temperatures will be about average for us today. We're going to take a deeper look at your forecast, talk about a cold front that's on the way here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see how newsstands are making a comeback, but this time they're being used to sell local art.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. MoDOT is warning drivers in Jasper County about road work starting today on Route K. The crews will begin on a resurfacing project on Jasper County Route K from I-49 at Jasper East. MoDOT says work will wrap up on September 20th and traffic reduced to 1 lane, and drivers should wait for the pilot vehicle before proceeding through the work zone. There will be no sign detour. Drivers are encouraged to find alternate routes. MoDOT says the project is part of Governor Parsons' Rural Routes program. Pittsburgh State University kicks off Hispanic Heritage Month with its first Hispanic Music Festival yesterday in the Bicknell Center for the Arts. The Hispanic Band performance is one of many that'll take place throughout September and October. Some songs performed by the band include Bella Ciao, Funky Town, and more. Special guest performances took place throughout the festival. Adult Literacy, a nonprofit organization that helps adults learn to read and increase basic literacy skills, announced it has received a $10,000 grant from the U.S. Bank Foundation. The grant will be used to support vibrant adult literacy programs as well as begin a quarterly financial literacy class through U.S. Bank. A check presentation took place yesterday at the MSSU soccer fields. The U.S. Bank Community Affairs Manager said, quote, "We're proud to work with organizations like NALA Adult Literacy to help gain greater financial literacy and build thriving communities." And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got temperatures relatively close to average, mid-80s, partly cloudy skies, gusty east winds pushing 20, maybe even 25. And along and east of I-49 between 2 and 5, an opportunity for an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm out there. Once we get past that window, we'll have mostly clear skies through the evening, upper 60s by 10, and we'll fall back into the low to mid-60s as we go into the overnight hours tonight. Then we have that cold front. It's been showing up. It's been consistent, and I really like that. I like when something down the road is very consistent, especially when it's good news. So ahead of it, though, getting hot. A little bit on the muggy side as well. We'll go in the low 90s through this week, starting tomorrow. And then by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday, that cold front comes in, brings us an opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms out there, at least the best opportunity we've had in quite some time. And we'll also see temperatures begin to drop. Low 80s for Sunday and Monday, and maybe even the upper 70s as we get further into next week. So some absolutely gorgeous weather on the way. Just gotta, get through the next few days of unpleasant weather.
Right, sure. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making sesame chicken with honey sauce in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. First on CBS Mornings, NCIS star Wilmer Valderrama is live in studio to talk about his new memoir detailing his remarkable journey growing up in Venezuela to Hollywood.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, a local nonprofit receives a $10,000 grant to help adults with literacy.
And Lori Horton back in the studio to finish up her apple cider donut cake. And there's not one word in that phrase that sounds bad at all,
nope,
especially for a Monday. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. Hopefully you've had a fantastic time with us, and we'll be back here again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.